Hey, what's up, everybody? Well, I just got done watching the season 3 premiere episode of Twin Peaks just within minutes ago, and I figured I'd just pop up Audition and start talking a bit with the initial impressions fresh in my head instead of trying to do a detailed episode review. Because if I was trying, I'd waste too much time just trying to connect the dots to things in the past that they really haven't created any way to really connect them yet, other than some of the minor stuff that we could expect. But yeah, my initial impressions, it was pretty cool. It reminded me definitely of a David Lynch film, given it was a longer than normal episode. Let's see, I'm thinking it was what? How long was it? This was almost 2 hours, so not bad. Definitely had a vibe of his more recent films, stylizing wise. I mean, it's you when you watch a David Lynch film, if you're familiar with his work, you know it's a David Lynch film for all the technical aspects of it, the way that the actors are acting, are directed to act. I'm sure he does a lot of hands-on type stuff on certain scenes. Especially for newcomers that don't have a developed character yet. I mean, like the whole the guy that's up in that a building in New York that's got that glass box where he's supposedly looking, there to earn money as for school or something like that, or while he's in school, by basically sitting there and watching and waiting to see if anything appears in it. And the way he's kind of in his interaction with the gal that's got an interest in him, and it's very kind of awkward on purpose type interaction between them, and all the beats. And then you've got the security guard, who I don't know who that is. I think he's a UFC fighter. I would have to. I recognize immediately. The name just doesn't pop into my head, and yeah, so that awkwardness and all that. And then you've got the soundtrack, and whatnot, and the lighting, and the way things are shot, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, just a lot of little clues that hey, I'm watching a David Lynch piece. But as far as the story itself, well, it appears that we're going to be dealing a lot with Bob, and basically they're as well, Kyle MacLachlan as Agent Cooper, inhabited by Bob, going under the guise of Cooper, or Mr. C, as he was referred to by one of the people in there. And I guess there's some concerted effort, either by denizens of the Black Lodge, or otherwise, perhaps, to try to capture him or get him to go back into the lodge, so that Agent Cooper can escape. So that seems to kind of be the overlying, theme or plot that at least we're getting from this first episode. Bob's been out doing his thing ever since he escaped with inside of Cooper's body as a doppelganger. He's been working his magic, his ability to create mayhem and misery, and he's already got a body count just in this episode, and in a weird way of bodies ending up the way they are. So that hole in the head from the gunshot is definitely a interesting trademark, at least for a couple of the victims. And so somebody or some people, I'm assuming it's also has to do with Mike, the arm, or the one that was helping Cooper find Bob in the original run, is back again, trying to help get Bob caught again. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's essentially what we assumed coming into the series, that Bob's out there. That was how we left off at the end of season 2, and now we've got to get him back into the lodge so Dale can leave, because he's been trapped there for 25 plus years. I'm assuming they're going by the 25-year mark, even though it's slightly off, given it's a year or so past when being dead on as 25 years. But Anyway, and yeah, it was interesting to see a lot of the some of the old faces. We see Dr. Jacoby, who I wouldn't have recognized if he didn't have those goofy red and blue lensed glasses. He's out in the woods and got a delivery, a bunch of shovels or something. It was kind of interesting. Apparently, Jerry Horn owns a marijuana dispensary store or something, which I'm assuming is what he's referring to, given it's legal in Washington now. So that, he's all dressed up kind of like some Birkenstock hippie type, straight out of Washington State. That's making money for the Horns. He's just not in the hotel business anymore. I think this is the pilot episode that they must have shot when they were still. I think it was shot and invested in before the TV deal was made, because the gal that plays the log lady, I know that she had died within the last couple of years. She passed before, I believe, the actual agreement was made with Showtime to actually have the film on the channel. So that's why I didn't expect to see her in it, because I'd heard that she'd passed away, probably from cancer or something like that. So yeah, I saw her, and then I was like, oh, okay, this must have been shot as what they were going to use to try to pitch the idea to whatever studio, or not studio, whatever channel was interested in picking it up. And I know that Frank Silva, if he, you saw a in memory of, with him and the lady that plays the log lady. He's the guy that played Bob in the original run. He passed away as well, but I think it was a while back. So I don't think there was. I don't believe he was in the film at any point, at least that I could recognize, because he wasn't a youngster when he was in Twin Peaks back in 1990. Yeah, but we've also saw, let's see who else we saw. We had, Ben Horn, of course, still running the Great Northern. We saw, in the ending scene, James Hurley's character comes back. We see Shelley Johnson there too. And if you noticed in the mirror, you see the guy that played Jacques Renault, the bartender, the guy, gray bearded now, but he's supposed to be dead. So I don't know if he was supposed to be like an extra, there just as kind of a goof. But yeah, his character's supposed to be dead, so I don't know, his ghost isn't attending bar anymore. We got to see Andy, and he looks like he's put on a few pounds, but he's still got that same goofy humor. His kid's born on Marlon Brando's birthday. And obviously he and Lucy are a couple now. We see Hawk, who's put on the trail by the log lady, heads to and finds the Black Lodge, actually. So that was kind of cool. Still there. Let's see, who else did we see? Well, we saw Sarah Palmer, but damn, what is up with her? Chain smoking and Bloody Marys. God, watching this is like the ultra gore hour on the Nature Channel. These lions killing this poor water buffalo. I don't know what that's all about. I almost have expected, given that scene, to see Dale show up in the TV or show up somehow, because he was projected. He was like banished or something. It was by the doppelganger of the Arm, which is another cool thing I should mention that they added to it, because the guy that I think it's Michael Anderson, or is the name of the actor that played the Arm, or the midget in the red suit. And as I mentioned in probably something way back, he made some really inflammatory remarks and accusations against David Lynch, basically saying that that Twin Peaks was basically something he actually knows very well, because it's based off of him killing some girl or something. I mean, literally, he's accusing David Lynch of creating Twin Peaks as a way to, as some like something Bob would do, to a demon self-portrait of his own criminal history by making a film or a show based on it. So needless to say, he got booted out of any possibility of playing in that role. So that's why the Arm, the evolution of the Arm, as Mike says, had to take his place. That's why it's there, not the midget, because I believe the actor is still alive. So he basically just I don't know, either went nuts for some reason and started making comments like that or something. So that's why he's not there. But the evolution of the arm is kind of cool. It's the sycamore tree with that head, goofy looking monstrous head, almost like something of like a, like a Tool, the band Tool, on one of their old music videos. I wonder if it was the same animator. Could be. I imagine David Lynch is probably a fan of Tool and those videos specifically. I would not be surprised if he did not get that individual. I don't know the name of the artist, but probably got him involved. It's possible. And then you saw that. Let's see, what else did we have there? We saw Laura Palmer come in and basically talk to Dale Cooper in there and remove her face, and there was this saying that she's dead but still alive, and then kind of peels back her face to see this like glowing light behind it, and then all of a sudden she's like banished from the Black Lodge, or some force removes her from there and like tears her away when she's talking with Dale. So yeah, there's a lot of, and then we got Ray Wise saying she needs to go as Leland Palmer in the lodge, saying he's got to find Laura. Maybe she has more clues or answers that he needs, that being the good Dale. Yeah, there was a lot of this little, bits here and there to kind of to remind us of who's, still around as far as the old cast goes. But a lot of it was focused outside of Twin Peaks itself, which is good. I'm glad they didn't just plop right down into, well, here's Twin Peaks 25 years later, and let's kill an hour getting, catching up to what everybody else has been doing. That would have been kind of a waste. So yeah, we've got this situation in South Dakota where there's a murder that takes place via a principal or high school principal, and I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but he was in, you'd recognize most from that the movie Scream, or the Scream series. He was big in the 90s with a lot of teen movies and stuff. The guy that plays the high school principal. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head. What I'm assuming gets framed by this woman or his wife and this other guy. And then who, she's apparently connected with Bob. But he ends up, taking her out of the situation. And it was interesting to see that also that other scene where we've got Bob driving up in the Mercedes, that bizarre track playing, and he comes up to this, this trailer out in the boonies somewhere, a bunch of hillbillies or something, which I'm assuming is still in South Dakota. I immediately thought it was because they always pick for extras in a lot of the Lynch films and whatnot. The people that something about them physically, they're either incredibly ugly or they're just goofy looking, or just they stand out. There's something that a face or a person you would not forget if you saw them once. And that that trailer was full of people like that. And I almost thought that was a meeting of the denizens of the Black Lodge, kind of like how it was in the convenience store in the film. But I'm not quite sure if that's the case, because I don't think it is. But that was my initial impression. I'm like, oh, okay, so Bob just came to a new meeting of these denizens. But because he had to explain to the gal because he came to get one of the guy and the gal there and bring him with him on his on his little errand or whatever, and he ended up telling her before he killed her that he was he was wanted back at the place called the Black Lodge. So obviously she had no idea that was the Black Lodge existed. But yeah, so just I know I'm a little scatterbrained here, but I'm just trying to kind of get on my initial impressions out here. The interesting thing with the glass box, I think that was the thing that got my interest the most, was what they were trying to find, something that would appear in there. And I'm assuming what appeared in that glass box when the kid and the gal started, getting towards having sex, was the doppelganger of the evolved arm. I think that's what appeared there. And then that came out and killed them. But yeah, I had a feeling that I mean, they said, you know, an elusive, you know, or kind of not elusive, but a reclusive billionaire, you know, set up this project. I wonder if we'll find out who that is. That'd be pretty cool if there was some more background into that whole thing, if that apparatus plays a part later on. Or that's a really cool idea, because I think it was basically meant to capture, or at least to document proof of one of the denizens of the lodge appearing into our world, or coming into our world, because that's how Dale Cooper at the end we saw came through into that glass box after the doppelganger of the evolved arm kind of banished him from the lodge, at least in some way. Or was that an awesome scene or what? The floor tiles that are spread out normally flat start to kind of raise, and he's, you know, and that everything's all kind of out of whack, and then this floor opens up and there's this, you know, dark black matter underneath, which I'm assuming is the oil, but not necessarily sure. You know, that black liquid, almost like, you know, looks like a, you know, that opens up, that he falls into, as was supposed to be one and the same of the black liquid outside of the sycamore grove into that little pool. But maybe not. Maybe I was just supposed to be some kind of medium by which they can be sent through to different places. Because I mean, Cooper was sent to that to outside into that glass box thing that with all those cameras around it right before those two were came back in to start making out, and then disappeared. So I wonder if it's like another doorway or something. I wonder if it's something Bob set up. Maybe he's the one, because I mean, he's been around doing his thing for, you know, 25 years. He's probably been able to accumulate some scratch. So maybe he set up the glass box. Maybe that's Bob's device, or maybe it's a device that the denizens of the lodge are trying to use to capture Bob. You know, just a lot of cool things going on with that, and that's totally David Lynch. That just kind of that bizarre thing like that, where this kid's just basically just taking these, and I'm assuming are snapshots of something that, or I think they were like a snapshot or of a camera activated. He'd take out the little, was it a little like, you know, flash card or micro SD or something, and put it in these slots in that kind of safe thing he had. I don't know if that's what it was supposed to be, something like that. But anyway, that's really cool. I hope they don't just make that a one and done as far as the first episode goes, because that thing looks like it's got a lot of potential to be pretty cool. And it was also cool to see that the Black Lodge, we saw where Dale at the end couldn't open up the curtains. It was almost like it was locked behind it, and then all of a sudden he's allowed to open up, and we see he actually can see out into the real world. It was almost like he was gonna leap out into, you know, escape, and because you see Bob driving that car. You know, I don't know if it was gonna, and then of course the doppelganger of the arm, or the evolved arm as Mike calls it, goes after him and keeps him from doing that. So that just the way that was shot with that crazy ass, you know, sycamore tree with that blob head on the top. It's all orangish and yellow because it's supposed to be the doppelganger. And it's all, you know, that's just totally David Lynch surrealism, dream, nightmare stuff. That's just, I mean, it's just awesome. That was way cool. Probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole film. It's always that thing screeches, this is like non-existent or something like that. I'm not sure what it was quite hinting at. But yeah, so basically Bob has been up to a lot of no good, which would you expect, which is basically what his characters, he's probably on the run, I imagine, or he's got people. I mean, he's been around doing this for so long that I imagine at least Mike and at least like, it seems like the evolved arm are kind of at the point where they need to get him back. Because they're kind of, maybe he's, you know, he's done too much damage out in the world, and now it's time for him to return, but he doesn't want to. Obviously, he enjoys this freedom he has. And that's basically it. Yeah, it's like tracking down Bob, getting him back to free Dale Cooper. I'm trying to think of anything else. What was that scene with the lady's head in the bed there in that apartment? When that gal said that something smelled, I thought someone was going to mention scorched engine oil. I don't know. Some of you might have thought the same thing. And then removes the covers, and I didn't realize that it was initially. I didn't realize it was a different body placed with that head. So that escaped me until they got to the part where they had the fingerprint analysis going on. So that was pretty creepy. See this body, and they're just like, oh my, that was pretty gross. Yeah, I mean, it was a couple hours, so I'm trying to recall as best I can. Like I said, a lot of it was basically just setting things up to where we're going to be going into the next episode. Hawk has been given a message by the log lady. Basically, sends him on a trek to find the entrance to the Black Lodge, so he knows where it's at. They kind of realize that Dale's only way Dale can leave is if Bob returns. The doppelganger returns to the lodge, so he's got Andy and Lucy looking for some evidence that's missing from these boxes or something. So now he's on the track. So will be interesting to see what happens in episode 2. I'll probably start doing more of the blow by blow analysis with the next episode, because it should be the normal length, hour. And this was just, this is just like, hey, we're back. It's Twin Peaks is back again, season 3. This is where some of the people are that you're familiar with. Here's some new faces. Here's the general idea of what's happening. But I was pleased to see that the guy that plays Philip Gerard, or Mike, the guy that's missing the arm, was still alive and is in it. I hope he's still alive. I hope he's going to be around for the entire run, because he was a great character, and he's technically a good guy, I guess you could say, but he's helping Dale to solve it. So he's one of these people we know that's on the side of good Dale. Plus, seeing the guy that played the giant, I think he's still alive. Like I said, this pilot episode was probably shot a couple years ago. So that he's there and giving Dale information. And I don't know, he said something about room 430, like Richard and Linda, two birds, one stone. I'm thinking that was referring to what happened with those two that were the guy that was watching the glass box, and the gal that came in brought him coffee, and then they ended up getting killed. I think that's what he was foreshadowing. If I'm wrong, correct me on that. But I think that was what the initial beginning scene was. Yeah, I'll cut it short here. I don't want to get past too far, because I'm not doing a full episode analysis, so there's no need to ramble on. I'm just, kind of amped up and excited. I had a couple cups of coffee watching it and soaking it all in, and it was nice. It was nice to trek down memory lane in certain ways with the return of the characters, even though it is a bit it's a bit bizarre and odd to see them all much older than when I just got done watching the original run. It's like, whoa, time does fly. 25 years. I mean, I was 11 years old when season 2 ended in 91. So yeah, that's a while for me too. So it was cool to see everybody. I know there are more actors that are going to make appearances as the show goes on. So yeah, Bob is basically on the run. It seems like there's Bob contacted towards the end, before he hooked up with Jennifer Jason Leigh, which I didn't know she was going to be in the show. It was interesting. With someone who was supposed to be Philip Jeffries. Remember the character that David Bowie played in the film. But he's, getting information from him, but it seems like, and he was someone that disappeared. So maybe Chet Desmond will make an appearance. Maybe, we'll see, Chris Isaac. That'd be cool. But yeah, I think there seems to be some concerted effort to, get, Bob to capture him and get him back. So he's kind of almost like a fugitive from the law of, our world, and perhaps some kind of, supernatural law that exists between the Black and White Lodge, because there seems to be this balance, because everything, there's a duality with the shadow self and the doppelganger and the actual self. So maybe we're going to get some insight into the White Lodge, and maybe some of their entities will be playing a part. Maybe they're putting muscling those in the Black Lodge. It's like, hey, now we get your guy under control and get him back there. He's wreaking havoc in the world, and and we're the guardians, that see over the world of mankind, and and we're, we need to get this situation remedied immediately. So I hope so. I hope we do explore a heck of a lot more into the White Lodge. That would be one thing on my wish list, that we, by the end of this, we were as familiar with the White Lodge as we are with the Black Lodge. But we'll have to wait and see. So I hope everyone else enjoyed it. I'm sure some people will go online and, well, this isn't the Twin Peaks I remember. Well, it's not supposed to be. This is David Lynch. This is, this is something that's been brewing and, working inside the back of his mind for, a quarter century, and he's finally getting it, put it out, into reality. So be happy with what you get, because at this point, it looks like we're in for some really cool stuff, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the next episode and what is yet to come. So yeah, next episode I'll probably do more blow by blow breakdown things a little bit more, instead of just giving an overall impression. But my overall impression with season 3, episode 1 is freaking cool as a standalone, even if this was just all we got, was this kind of standalone addition to it. I mean, it opens up new questions, but it was satisfying. And yeah, let's see what the future holds for Twin Peaks. I'll be back next week to cover episode 2, season 3. Take it easy, folks.